Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It doesn't matter where you're listening into, you are invited into this space, the African MSME Collective space, where we talk about how to set up, stabilize, scale, and build sustainable businesses. Why sustainable? And we're not just talking about environmental stability and sustainability. We're talking about how businesses can become intergenerational. The African micro business sector start and stop a lot, start and fall a lot. But what we are hoping to do in our lifetime and even beyond our lifetime is to provide information that is useful with the skills that small businesses need to be sustainable long term. We're building for posterity. My name is Kyesubire Greg, and I'm so glad to be part of this conversation. These conversations make me excited because they're drawn from our experiences, they're drawn from our interactions with businesses, and they're drawn from conversations all around the sector. So karibuni sana, which means you're absolutely welcome to listen in as Joe Mukoko, my business partner, shares insights that he's been picking as he's been mentoring and building and doing business development with businesses across the country and indeed across the continent. Joe, karibu sana.
Thank you, Kyesubire. I was about to say to you, but thank you very much for having me on the show this day. Hello to our viewers and followers and listeners and audience.
Oh my goodness. So let me give reference to that to you for those who may be wondering what to you is all about. So in the last episode of their Growth Edge, what we discussed was customer experience. And I gave the example of how you could go to an office and tell somebody or even call and you say good morning and they respond to you. And we use that as an example of not so good customer service. Because customer experience, as we described in the previous episode, is the feeling we leave our customers with. So whether it is pre-purchase, during the purchase, post-purchase, customer experience covers the whole customer journey map because there's a way we make them feel when they're interacting with us at whatever stage that determines whether or not they come back. Customer experience is so much more than customer service because service is at the point when you're in contact with them. Experience is at every touch point with your brand. And customer experience must match your brand persona. So today we're talking about how our teams add or subtract from CX. The team member who says to you after in response to good morning could actually subtract. Why are you laughing like that, Joe? This was on you. Could actually subtract from your CX. And if I came in, I'm like, good morning, and somebody's like, good morning, how are you? How can I be of assistance? It gives a completely different feeling that that person is more likely to come back. So when we look at CX, we must be cognizant of the fact that the person on the shop floor, the person behind your socials, the person in the store or the person at the dispatch counter is critical to CX. So I think, Joe, we've been talking about how to improve CX, and one of the key conversations we need to have is how do we equip our teams to provide excellent customer experience?
Thank you, Kyesubire.
To
A
you.
couple of why I'm laughing is because you say that to you with so much energy. I'm like, wow, maybe you experienced it too much. I hope we didn't traumatize you with it. Yeah, thank you. When we talk about equipping our teams begins with us as leaders. The first thing we need to do as a leader is to develop a customer-centric mindset. You, as a leader, myself as Joe Mukoko, develop. Because remember, we are only as good as our teams, and our teams are only as good as us. What culture are we building in the spaces that we operate in as business owners? So the first thing that would have to happen is for the business owner to develop a customer-centric mindset. Practice empathy yourself. Deal with the customers, even as your teams deal with the customers, so that you may understand the journey your customers go through. That will enable you to do the second thing, which is to train and develop your employees. So first you develop that mindset, put yourself in the customer's shoes, understand their journey. That will enable you to develop good training and development programs and implement them, okay? What does your product do for the customer? How do they interact with? How do you help your staff develop their own emotional intelligence skills as they are dealing with the customers? What are the basic things about customer service? So that would be the second thing that you would need to do. And why that is important is just leveraging on to you. Because I will have been on the floor and I have dealt with customers as they walk in, whether it is in my informal shop, it's in my corporate shop, it's in my logistics place, it's in the farm. I learn how to receive my clients well. I learn how to interact with my clients well. Then I'm able to pass on that down to my team. And for them to know, to you is not a greeting to a customer or response to a customer's greeting. That goes in your training manual. And then now, thirdly, you empower them. Have I trained you to talk to customers? Yes. Have I trained you to handle customers' complaints? Yes. Then give them powers. Empower them. And as you're empowering them, empower them with knowledge. Empower them in a way that it makes sense. Empower them with tools. How do they record the complaint? How fast should they respond to the complaint? And then reward and motivate them. That is part of empowerment. They feel valued. Remember, these are the people who are helping you build your brand. They feel valued. We could say, everyone who doesn't use the to you statement, you have breakfast with the boss, or you get a voucher, or you get something. When we talk about Net Promoter Score, which we are going to deal with later on when we come to sales and all those other things, how many clients are willing to refer people to us just because of the way they were received? Or just because of the way their complaints were handled? Going back to our micros and small businesses, at times we run into problems, and because we've not empowered our staff, they tell the client, I have to refer this to a supervisor. And maybe you have the supervisor, and the supervisor is not empowered. So this person got to you first with your staff, then has gone to this, been referred to the supervisor, gets a second to you, and then the supervisor is, I cannot solve this, I have to refer it again. That's a very long chain. Customers don't need to know the internal workings of what is going on. What they have is a pain that needs to be sorted out, a pain that needs to be taken away. So have that customer-centric mindset yourself as the leader, then develop impactful training that your staff can actually implement, then empower them. Empower them. As you're empowering them, we talked about tools and technology. Leverage on that as much as possible. How are your experiences recorded? Do you have a CRM system? If you can't afford a CRM system, there are other ways in which you can be able to use technology for your clients. Develop frequently asked questions. Just have them somewhere on your site or even on your social media page, or run them. You're educating the customer, but you're also bringing them in. And then ensure that you keep on providing support to your team. Coach and mentor. Coach and mentor. Listen to when your team is talking to customers. Pick up the things that you need to include in your training, or reinforce the training through coaching. Where did they go wrong? Don't lambast them in front of a client, because the client will walk away. You will still need someone to sort out your shop. But what can you do to improve? And here, where we are talking about coaching and mentorship, role play with your staff. Be the customer. Treat them. Let them be the customer. You handle them. That way, then, you're building a bond. And the loyalty that we were talking about and the values that we are talking about keep on coming in. And lastly, make sure that as you're doing all these things, then you infuse. Remember, we started with customer-centric mindset for the leader. Infuse a customer-centric culture in the company. Collect feedback from staff, from clients. How can we make things better? How can we make the working environment better for them to perform and them to be able to deal with the customer? So we'll start with that. A customer-centric mindset for the leaders. Training and development, empowerment, technology and tools, coaching and mentorship, and lastly, infuse it, that customer-centric culture. That the to you statement goes away and the customer is greeted in a happy way. Good morning. Good morning. How can I be of service or help to you? What are you looking for this morning? Can I recommend something that suits you? Other than to you, back to you, Kyesubire.
I like that. You made me think about a restaurant that I like to go to when I have time, when I need to just have time out. The first time we went there, we were greeted by the manager. So most of the team members are young. The manager is probably about our age or a little bit below our age. And the warmth with which we didn't even know she's the manager, but she came, said hello, and she sat us down, and then she assigned a certain waiter to serve us. Now, what has happened over time is that that if she's not there or that waiter is not there, I don't feel like I've been served nicely. But you talked about empowering them to make decisions. So we had a hot chocolate with ginger in a different restaurant. And so I came and asked her, I'd like a black hot chocolate. Can I have it with ginger? She's like, how do you want the ginger, infused or steamed in? Like instantly. Please note, that drink is not on the menu. It's not on the menu. It is nowhere to date. But she went to the kitchen and she told the guy, it needs black hot chocolate and ginger. I came, I tasted them, like, I can taste the water. I don't have enough hot chocolate. So she took it back, had them put in more chocolate syrup. So now when I come, I would sit and I'd say, I'll have my usual. So guys are like, your usual is what? So and then she laughs and she says, her usual is not even on the menu. So what would happen subsequent times, I would go and they would be like, we don't do that. I'm like, tell the barista, he knows my drink. And she's like, what? I'm like, tell the barista. So you go and, ati kuna mtu anataka hot chocolate and ginger. There's someone who wants hot chocolate with ginger, and the barista produces it. And then, so now what the young man who serves us, he'd ask, is the chocolate enough? I know that's what I see as good customer experience. Because to date, which is more than a year and a half later, at least 2 years later, I think. It's not on the menu. But if I walk in and I ask for that drink, they will make it. They will, of course, add because the ginger needs. I'm like, it's okay. So they'll all start. It will cost you more. I'm like, I'm aware. I drink that here all the time. So when you were talking about customer experience and our teams, it struck me that we must, as leaders, delegate with authority. It's one thing to say, Joe, this is your section to make sales. It's a different thing if I cannot be able to make discount decisions. So it also struck me that we need to be able to sit with our customers and say, this is the price, but if somebody asks for a discount, this is the maximum you can go to. So that's also delegate with authority, because then they know if it's 5,000 shillings, I can come down to 4,500 safely without making everyone get a loss. And you will find there is another shop I go to that when I peep and it's the staff member, not the owner, I don't go. So I stopped going to the shop. I started calling the owner. Hi, I want. I give her my whole order because I know I'll get a better price with the owner. I give her my order. Then she asks, collection or delivery? So if I'm not around, then I will have it delivered. And I know the rider they deliver with, and I just tell the owner, put everything in your bill. I am paying you, right? So I was telling the owner the other day, by the way, you know me, I don't come when so and so. She's like, I know. I have noticed. And then she said something critical. She said, you are not the only one. So I mean, for me, that's also another red flag. When we find that our teams are not connecting with the customers, what do we do? And they're trained. Sorry, let me add context. We have trained them. We've done all these things, but they're still not connecting well with the customer. What do we do?
Two things we can do. We go back to induction. How did we onboard them? How did we train them? How did we empower them? How did we coach them? And coaching comes down to when we have to handle, our teams have to handle complaints. There's an acronym we like using for LEAST, L-E-A-S-T. L-E-A-S-T. That we need to build in our teams. The L stands for listening. Are they listening to the customer? And not just listening, active listening. Are they being able to pick up the said, the unsaid, and the in-between that the customer is trying to communicate? Then secondly, are they empathizing with the customer? If they are not connecting, it means they are not putting themselves in the customer's shoe. Remember, a customer who keeps on coming back and is complaining doesn't want to go. And statistics show that the customers who complain stay. The customers who don't complain go away and look for an alternative. Are they empathizing? Can we teach them how to empathize? Can we teach them through demonstration? How is the apology? Are we apologizing to customers ourselves? Is the staff apologizing to customer the right way? Or just throwing the apology and like, take it or leave it, sorry. Okay. Then are they solving the problem, working with the customer in collaboration with their teams to get long-lasting solutions. For example, you wanted chocolate with ginger. The person who does it is not there. Is there anyone else who can help you? Is there an alternative to your drink? I think that's what you're drinking right now. Is there an alternative to your drink? And then lastly, are they thanking the customer for their service? You've complained, and maybe you've complained to me, and I'm not happy to receive the complaint, but am I thanking you for choosing to do business with us, for choosing to stay with us? So one, go back to induction, and secondly, take this formula and put it in your tools. That when they're giving feedback, their feedback will be based on this. This is what the customer complained about. This is what I picked. I apologized and offered these solutions, then thanked the customer. Back to you, Kyesubire.
That's powerful because it segues into what I was going to ask you next. We will always have instances where we get feedback from customers, whether positive or negative. Positive feedback is easier to deal with. So I'll just look at the negative feedback. Many times, when we get negative feedback, we ignore it, or a common saying I've heard is, well, some people are just difficult. But I have also come to know that the customer who complains is the customer who wants to stay, just like you have said. So how do we handle negative feedback? Positive feedback is so easy. Oh, I love the product. Oh, thumbs up, we're excited. Negative feedback slaps a certain way. It beats our ego because we know we're doing a good thing. And then somebody says, oh, terrible, absolutely terrible. How do you suggest we handle, especially negative feedback and complaints?
One of the things we have to do, remember we go back to the issue of a customer-centric mindset and a customer-centric culture.
Yes.
If the customer is complaining and the feedback is negative, it means there's something wrong in their journey with us. The product is not delivering. The value we promised, we are not offering. So there's something wrong in delivery of value and in their collection of value. So we step back and listen. And remember, it's not about us. It's about the customer and the value that we are offering. When the customer comes back and say, this ginger and chocolate is not tasting the way it should. You see, I am not attacking you as Kyesubire. And my feedback is not to you as Kyesubire, as the restaurant owner. I'm giving feedback about your product. But that we can only sort out once we sort out the mindset and the culture. And going back, use the list formula to find out how to sort the client better. Why are you complaining? What is that challenge? What didn't you like? I don't know if you must have gone to a restaurant and on the menu, when they write a meal with a very interesting name and they call it some nice name, and they say inside the meal, you will find cheese, avocado, some fresh something. Let's say, for example, you're having a burger. And then when you separate the bun from the bread, all you find is a slab of meat, a slice of cheese, and then a slice of tomato. Done. It does not start with that very nice name you had given the product. You know, you go back and listen to the customer. Why are they complaining? What had we promised them? And then the reason why we need to empathize with our customers, because remember in the first episode, we talked about the perceptions we create. And so I have created this perception about the burger. And so my client has expectations as they sink their teeth in the burger. And then it doesn't work. Expectations are broken. Okay? What do we need to do? We need to step back and know they're not complaining to me as Joe. They're complaining about the product. They're complaining about the value we offered. So we have to listen to them. We have to empathize, put ourselves in their shoes. What expectation had we created that we did not deliver on? Then apologize. And genuine apology. Remember, the customer is not attacking you. The customer is against the value that you had promised and you've not delivered. Then look for a solution. What had we promised you? Why is it not here? Can I go back to the kitchen and find out how this can be sorted out? Can I go back to production and ask them, why did this particular thing come out this way? Okay, I'm trading, I don't sell, but I don't manufacture, but I buy and come to resell. It helps you go back and relook. Is it a problem with the batch that you're having? And what can you do with, one, your wholesalers or your suppliers, and two, with the customer? And then however bad you felt with the complaint, thank the customer, because the customer is giving you an opportunity to improve yourself. The customer is not leaving you stranded. Otherwise, they will leave you to your own devices. And we talked about customer experience building sales. And then you wonder, why are my sales tanking? Why are people not walking into my shop? Why is my burger meat going bad? But you see, it's because what you promised is not what is there. So how do you improve on that? Thank you.
I think there's something you said that really, you said a couple of things actually. You said, it's not about us. And I think that's one of the biggest places we get stuck as business owners, because we are so personally, individually invested in the product that a question or a negative thing said about the product, we take it personally. It feels like it's Kyesubire being said is not good enough. Yet it's the product Kyesubire delivered that's not good enough. So then two things stood out for me. It's about the customer, not us, and don't take it personally. That's very profound, because it then makes me as a business owner understand why I cannot delegate to a team member to sell. You know, we say this thing a lot as business owners. You know, the way teams are, people are just not good workers. Now, it makes me wonder, are we the ones manufacturing those poor workers or selecting those poor workers by virtue of our belief system? Because we attract, as a man thinks, so is he. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so I'm going to draw into my circle people who do not work just because of how I speak. So what would be your parting shot, Joe? What is one thing we must always keep in mind when we're building our customer experience systems and building our teams to run them? Because we build a system for the team to run.
Every interaction with a customer, whether positive or negative, is an opportunity for us to improve our businesses. For the positive one, we are only as good as our last sale. What went well and what can we improve on? And where the customer complained, it is a great opportunity to improve our business. By handling this feedback effectively and efficiently, both for positive and negative interactions, we build customer loyalty through enhanced relationships. So let's take every interaction with our customers as an opportunity to make our businesses better. Over to you, Kyesubire. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Every interaction is an opportunity to improve our business. I will leave it there. It's time for us to think about how our teams interact with our customers and look for the gaps, and let's bridge the gaps so that every time our customers come into our space, their experience is fantastic. Thank you so much, Joe. This is Kyesubire Greg signing out from the Growth Edge at the African MSME Collective, where we build businesses to set up, stabilize, scale, and be sustainably successful. If you have a question, please just put in the comment section. We'll be sure to answer it. If there's a topic you want us to cover, also put it in the comment section. We'll pick it up and we'll organize for it. And we ask that if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend, and definitely hit the notifications button so that the next time we go live, you are one of the first to see that video. For us at the African MSME Collective, also known as AMC, thank you, and catch you in the next show.